What's up, YouTube? I'm Mike, and today I'm back with another sort of update video. I made a video back a few days ago stating that I was going to try to use Trenbolone as a pre-work compound. I made that video on July 28th. So basically I increased my dose very marginally. I was taking 100 milligrams of Trenbolone per week, Trenbolone E per week, but I had been dosing it daily, which I was really not enjoying. Again, I think I mentioned this in one of my other videos. I don't know whether it's fair to judge the daily dosing, because it felt weak, honestly. Like I on the daily dosing protocol, I really wasn't feeling the trend. And so when I switched back to bi-weekly dosing, I began to feel it more, but the reality is that it's probably because, I've been pinning every day, and then I pinned what would be a bi-weekly dose, and so I may have gotten, a little high, basically a little blip up in the total amount of compound in my system for a short period of time, which caused me to feel the drug again. I know there are a lot of people, or some people in my audience that do not have the acute reaction to Trenbolone that I do. It is very profound. I feel it within 24 hours. I can feel the compound peaking in my system the following day, and that's why I decided to try to use Tren E, even though it's not ideal, as a pre-work compound. As you know, I've been complaining. I've gotten a new job, and it has come with a lot more on-site training than I had prepared myself for, which really wreaked havoc on my schedule. And I was suffering from really just the adjustment of the schedule, lack of sleep. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that even when I'm living a totally normal schedule, I'm used to being basically a loner. Like my entire career, I've spent in outside sales, and I've 18 of the 20 years, I didn't have a partner of any kind. So I was totally free to control my day. And all of a sudden you get thrust into the situation where you're going to an office and you're around a whole bunch of people, and you're like back to asking, can I go home now? And it felt like a huge step backwards. I'm not entirely certain yet that this position that I have taken is not in fact a step backwards. But that's what the first 90 days is about, right? Like, in the first 90 days of any new job, the employer is basically, any employer is free to fire you for any reason within that first 90-day period. I think it's 90 days. I think it's 6 months. I think it's 90 days. And so really it's a feeling out period for both parties. The employer is trying to decide whether you are going to fit with their culture, whether, they see any red flags where they can go ahead and cut you loose without having any fear of reprisal. But it's also a kind of a weighing in process for the employee. I hope that this is the job that I will spend many, many years at. It might not be. It really might not be. There's a lot of hand-holding. There's a lot of big brother type of tactics that I'm really not used to. I'm used to being completely free to control my own schedule, go where I need to go. Basically, at my previous employment, it was just basically like, go make money. We don't care how you do it. We don't care when you do it. Just go make money. And this has got a much greater big brother feel to it than what I'm used to. That's not necessarily a bad thing. That's what we are yet to find out. So one of the things that has definitely been good for me is that it's helped me to readjust to a real world schedule again. As you guys know, my wife and I, when we're left to our own devices, we are total slobs. Like we'll stay up all night, sleep all day. We don't get the housework taken care of. I don't get the yard work taken care of. Basically, we just are total sloths. We spend all day together playing video games, making YouTube content, laying around the house, we go to the gym. And there's just really no productivity in our life at all. And we've had that luxury for a long time now. I'm happy to report that so far, the pre-work Trenbolone increase has worked better than I could have expected. You probably can't tell from the energy level that I have right now, but I got up at 6 o'clock this morning. I had to go into the office even earlier than I've been going in for a ride along with one of our technicians, which is generally a miserable thing for me to do. Like the last thing on earth I want to do is spend all day in somebody else's vehicle, having them drive me around town, showing me what they do for a living in the fucking sweltering heat. Like typically this would have been a total disastrous day for me. And to be quite honest, psychologically I was in the toilet last night even thinking about it. I do not get up early enough to be at an office an hour away at 7 o'clock in the morning. and I was able to get to bed at a reasonable time, popped straight out of bed this morning, had full energy all day long. I've only had one energy drink, and I'm operating on like 5.5 hours of sleep. So if you ever needed proof positive that Trenbolone is a pre-work compound can have remarkable effects, this is me. And I understand that to some degree there's my body's adapting to the schedule. Obviously it wasn't going to happen overnight, but typically for me to not get a minimum of 8 hours of sleep, I'm a total zombie all day long, and that has just not been the case today. So I had a Trenbolone dose early this morning, so the compound has been rising in my system all day. It will peak first thing in the morning, Friday morning, which is a day that I have to be in the office, I think, every week. Although someone's setting appointments for me for the following Friday, so I'm about to have to find out whether that's a mistake or not, because my understanding is that we typically have to be in the office on Fridays. So the way I have my Trenbolone dosing currently set up, I take Trenbolone Sunday morning so that it peaks in my system Monday morning to get me out of that weekend grind. And then then I take it Thursday morning so that it peaks in my system on Friday morning to kickstart me a little bit earlier that day, because I'm supposed to be at the office at like 8:30 in the morning, and there's an hour drive. So far, I know this is atypical type of, somebody in the comments was like, dude, just use pre-workout. That'll get you going. I really try to steer clear of taking large amounts of drinking large amounts of caffeine. Like I pretty much steer clear of stimulants in general. That's not to say I don't drink caffeine. I do. I drink, I have like a Red Bull or a Monster every morning. I like to have some caffeine in the morning because I take Zopiclone to go to sleep, and Zopiclone has a lingering effect. It's a lot longer acting than Ambien, and so when you first wake up in the morning on a Zopiclone, you feel a little foggy, and like a Red Bull or a Monster or some kind of energy drink is usually just enough caffeine to kind of clear your head out so that you can prepare for your day. So I do have them. Occasionally I'll have another one in the evening as something that I take to the gym. I do drink Dr. Pepper all day, but I never notice any effects from the caffeine in Dr. Pepper. And if I stop drinking it, I don't miss it. So I know it's there. There's like 40 milligrams of caffeine in Dr. Pepper, but for some reason, it just does not seem to be bioavailable in the same way that an energy drink is. Maybe it's just dose. Maybe if I could drink 3 Dr. Peppers back to back and get like 120 milligrams quickly, it would have more of a stimulating effect, but just kind of nursing them all day certainly does not. So despite the fact that I got up at 6 o'clock this morning on very little sleep, I've been able to function all day long. I don't have any of the delirium, the cracked out feeling. I'll even get distorted vision from too little sleep. If I only get 6 hours of sleep or something, in the afternoon, I have visual distortions just from being tired. I don't know if this is normal for everyone. My body just cannot cope with small amounts of rest. Unless, of course, I have Trenbolone in the mix to solve all of the world's problems. I do not know why it works. It works so much better than anything. I've tried modafinil. I had that on hand today. I thought for certain that I was going to be eating modafinil all day long. I didn't take a single one. I took extra energy drinks. I didn't need them. Maybe it was helpful that I was on the road and we were going to different customers, and so I was constantly moving. But I just never had the come down crash effect. Even when I got home this evening, I still feel energetic. So we may even try to hit the gym up tonight, despite the fact that I'm only operating on 5.5 or 6 hours of sleep. This is game changing for me. This is not something that is typical, and it's something that I have never really gotten the chance to test. In the past, higher levels of Trenbolone, I know that 120 milligrams is not a high level of Trenbolone at all, but it is enough to negatively affect my sleep. And so in the past, when I was able to get 8 or 9 hours of sleep, and then my Trenbolone dose would go above 100 milligrams, and I would start getting extra stimulated, I would have this high intensity level of energy all day, then I would have trouble getting to sleep at night, and like I said, it would cause my schedule to rotate. Now that I'm in a situation where I really only have access to sometimes 7, maximum 8 hours of sleep, having that extra energy that the Trenbolone provides, allows me to get through my entire day fully functional as if I had gotten a full night's of restful sleep. Again, obviously, the major question is, will this last? You know, what are the psychological effects long term to me not getting the restful sleep that I need? I think that as long as I get caught up every weekend, and once I get back to my normal schedule, and I'm a little bit more free with setting my appointments, that things will get better. But so far, it has been absolutely life-saving. Honestly, I was borderline ready to quit this job. Like I was suffering so much that I was borderline ready to just say, you know what, this is not really panned out to be what you guys told me during the hiring process, and I feel like that's a red flag, and it's not really worth me continuing to pursue this. But things have gotten substantially better, and now that I'm finally kind of off the leash, I'm hoping that they will continue to get better. So now that I have a much better day-to-day schedule, I'm hoping that I can start getting back into some of my coaching. So I've had clients that have been very patient with me this week, reaching out saying, "Hey man, we know that you've been beat. You're not really having extra time, but we would like to schedule something with you." I'm hoping to be able to get back to that and actually have more time, believe it or not, than I did before with the coaching. I wasn't really ever seeing clients until 3 o'clock was usually the earliest appointment that I wanted to set, because of the fact that I wasn't getting up early in the morning. Now having an entire day, it's not an entire day, I still have appointments, but it's it's gonna be a lot easier for me to pull over in a parking lot in between appointments and fit in a client call here and there to keep the coaching revenue coming, because that's definitely going to be name of game for me in the weeks and months to follow. I have been living at a certain income level that has been artificially supplied by my savings, and now I have to be able to earn a comparable amount to balance things out. We have 2 brand new BMWs. We have bills piling up, and I don't want to be constantly bleeding off my savings. So for those of you who have been enjoying my content, rest assured it is here to stay. It seems. I'm hoping that nothing will occur to interfere with that. It seems that everything is going to be all good with me being able to stay on my bodybuilding routine, continue using all of the compounds that I like, and helping you guys who are interested with coaching and consultations as far as anabolics or whatever your goal is. It seems that there's going to be a way for me to fit all of these pieces together and really get back to being productive. I think that the biggest hurdle for me has just been climbing out of these doldrums where I've been saying it for 2 years. We've been living a completely fairy tale life. Like when you have like an excessive amount of money to where you don't want for anything, but you're not having to do anything at all to earn it, it really puts you in this kind of unrealistic state. My wife and I have gotten accustomed to having just crazy amounts of time to share with one another, and the sudden absence of all that time has really made the time that we spend together more valuable. It's actually been a really strengthening thing for our marriage. The calls that I get to make to her during the day are more meaningful. The time we share together at night is more meaningful, because a lot of the time that we would spend together that I'm missing out on now wouldn't be quality time. It would just literally be the fact that we were both in the same room. She might be watching something, I might be screwing around on my computer or in here making YouTube videos, and we were just in proximity to each other. It wasn't like we were actually actively doing things together with all of this time. Now that I'm back into the territory and I'm not going to be on the road constantly, there's only so much time to see clients. So typically in my business, I'm actually seeing clients somewhere between the hours of 9 or 10 to 3 o'clock at the latest. So I still get to start my day at home and end my day at home. And so just that extra couple of hours in the morning and the evening that you're not, basically away from home, driving, commuting, that was the thing that was killing me when I was going to the office, is if you have an 8-hour day at the office and an hour commute on either side of that, that's 10 hours of what, a total of 16 maybe, that you're completely away from the house. Now I'm into a situation whether instead of being gone for 10 of 16 hours, I might only be gone for 6. or 5, just depending on how many appointments, how many actual in-person appointments that I have, because a lot of the stuff that I do from my profession can be done at home, can be done on the phone. That's one of the things that's changed over the course of the last 5 to 10 years. If whatever business you work in, you probably know door-to-door salesmen are not really appreciated. Like pretty much everywhere I go, and I'm being reminded of that this week since I've been back on the street. You can go into a business park and try to, in every single door in that business park, of which there could be 20 or 30 are locked. The only way you can even possibly get into most businesses is to go in through the back door into shipping and receiving, because they don't want anybody in their front office. Receptionists are not really in employment anymore. Front desk workers are very rare to find in most businesses these days. Most businesses will not let you in the front door without an appointment. So much of what I actually do for a living can be done sitting right here at this desk, working the phones, setting appointments. And so if you've got a few hours of the day that you're at home and a few hours of the day that you're on the road, then it makes for me a much more comfortable way of life when my wife and kids are at home, because I get to have some of that contact while still getting paid. So hopefully that will put me back to square one, basically. Hopefully in the coming weeks, I'll be back to the schedule that works best with my psyche, that my wife and my kids are used to, and it will sort of lift the shackles off my brain. Like the biggest reason I have been not making content is I just could not muster the energy to do it. Obviously the trend is helping with that. Obviously the improved schedule is helping with that. And getting into the gym the other night was absolutely everything I needed. It's so easy for me to underestimate the psychological value of going to the gym. One of the things that a lot of people don't know about bodybuilding is that when you go to the gym and you work out, you get a dopamine fix. Your brain secretes a lot of the same reward chemicals that you can get from other less healthy activities. The difference with, for example, eating is that your brain will give you reward chemicals just for thinking about eating. So if you're sitting on the couch and your brain's like, hey, why don't you go have a bowl of ice cream? Your brain will motivate you to go get the ice cream because it's giving you the reward up front. Notice how your brain, unless you're an addict like me, for most people, your brain does not reward you at the thought of going to the gym. You have to get your ass up off the couch, get into the gym, start working, and then you get the reward chemicals. And that's what can make it so incredibly hard for people to stay on their bodybuilding or their weight loss regimens, is because most people do not enjoy going to the gym. They enjoy having been to the gym. My wife used to say that in the beginning all the time. When I was trying to motivate her to get into the gym with me, she would not be motivated to go. But every time we were leaving the gym, she would say, man, I'm really glad you talked me into going. I feel so much better now having had gone. But she never wanted to go. That's one of the reasons that I never say that a person should have, oh, you shouldn't do steroids until you've got 10 years of training under your belt, or you need some X amount of time. My wife had little to no training under her belt before she started using anabolics, because she could not stick to a program. Once she started using the anabolics, she had that extra energy, that extra drive. Now she's putting something into her body that is potentially damaging, and so you're going to be motivated to get to the gym and not waste it. And that is what actually helped her to get on a program that she's been able to sustain. So one of the things that can be very difficult about bodybuilding is it's easy to convince yourself like, oh, I'm too tired. It's not really worth it. I didn't get enough sleep last night. I didn't get enough calories. You've got to get your ass off the couch and go to the gym. You will be blown away. I was blown away this week about like how bad I felt walking into the gym and then how good I felt leaving. It's a total, like, it doesn't make any logical sense. If you're dead ass tired on the way to the gym, you would never expect that you're going to leave an hour or hour and a half later energized. But that's absolutely what happens to me. It happens to my wife. I think it happens to most people who get into this. You get the reward for doing the work. You don't get it. It unfortunately does not come in the same way that most things that are damaging to our health does. You do not get it up front. So I have to make sure that I stay aware of that and never use like I'm tired, I didn't eat good as an excuse not to go to the gym, because the second I do, I will fall out of my habit and then I will stop getting that reward, and that's when the depression comes. One of the things that scared the hell out of me a few nights ago was I have been sober for, I can't even remember how many years. I don't count. A long time. Like I almost never drink. Occasionally, a few times a year, if my wife and I go out to dinner, I'll have like a mojito or some kind of fancy mixed drink that sounds kind of nice. Maybe they have something special looking on their drink menu. Occasionally I have a drink. I do not use alcohol on a regular basis. And when I stopped going to the gym during that 10-day period, and I was coming home from work and I was miserable and I was not looking forward to the next day because I knew that it was just gonna be more of me spending all day doing something that I absolutely didn't want to do, those old familiar voices started talking in the back of my head like, you know, you're stressed, you're tired, you're worn out. Maybe you should have a drink. Maybe a little vodka would help you. And dude, that scared the shit out of me because I have not had those intrusive thoughts in, I mean, maybe a decade. It's been a long time since I was a chronic drinker. And to have that voice suddenly emerge again, that is why I'm always saying bodybuilding is my anti-drug. It is the thing that keeps me clean and sober. A lot of people come to this channel and they see my content and they're like, this guy's crazy, he's out of his mind, he's doing too many drugs, he's damaging his health. What you cannot understand, some of you can, because I have a lot of recovered addicts in my audience. But those of you who've never been addicts, no matter how damaging the things that I do in a bodybuilding context may seem to you, I guarantee you they are far less damaging than what I would be doing in the absence of bodybuilding. Every time in my life that I have quit bodybuilding, I have gone back on drugs and alcohol in some way to cope with my existence. It's just what I do every single time. And it was the thing that this time is what has kept me clean for the longest. So that is why I never worry too much about, you know, the compounds that I'm using, the possible very long-term negative effects from bodybuilding. They pale in comparison to where I could be literally in the course of a week. I mean, of weeks. Like if I was to fall off my bodybuilding protocol and get sucked back into the misery of work without having something extra to live for, to look forward to keep me on the straight and level, I would be back on Adderall or alcohol or something. I would start withering away, and I would be getting my reward chemicals from some foreign agent rather than from the work that I do in the gym and the seeing the pump and feeling the pump and being able to go into the gym, the locker room afterwards and take the progress photos. Those are all of the things that are necessary for me to stave off the desire to use illicit substances and alcohol. I need that constant reward trigger or I will relapse, and that's one of the things that I have got to stay committed to. Even if my wife and I can't work out, even if I have to get a workout in during lunch or something, sometime during the day, or at 3:30 when I stop seeing clients, go to the gym before I come home and do all of my follow-up paperwork. Some way I've got to stay on top of my bodybuilding regimen or everything will fall apart. So there you have it. I just wanted to give you this update because, again, I'm always running strange experiments. You guys seem to enjoy listening to me talk about what's going on in my life for whatever reason. And so the Tren pre-work schedule is working phenomenally. Hopefully my ACE will be here sometime in the next month, and I'll be able to see how that compares, where I can possibly get a daily come up and see if that's not even more advantageous. But right now, even at 120 milligrams, which is really still a very low amount of Trenbolone, I'm still getting just enough extra energy to be awake and alert and functional during the day, but still able to go to bed on time and get the sleep that I need, or as close to it as I can. And so again, I seem to have found this perfect combination of things that have been allowing me to exist in what I thought was an unsustainable state. So hopefully everything will continue to get better. If you guys need coaching, obviously reach out to me in the comments or on Instagram. My Instagram has been locked for a while because I was trying to get a job. I'm either going to unlock that or just start, doing a better job of accepting, but I think you can message me regardless. Obviously the Discord is still alive and popping, so check out the Discord. I have been absent from the Discord for over a week. I'm trying to get back into the swing of checking it during the day because it has just fallen out of my focus. But like I said, hopefully things are taming down now. Obviously, I got to plug all the things, guys. I'm back to real life. My vacation in La La Land is over. I'm not trying to become Greg Doucette here, but at the same time, I do need to earn a living. So if you need hormone replacement therapy, definitely check out royalmedicalcenters.com. Use code MikeFit at sign up. They will give you a 6-month discount on all of your products. Everything is shipped direct to your door. You get your testosterone, your Arimidex, and your enclomiphene is what they're giving now in place of HCG. Everything comes in a box with all your prescription labels, your needles, your pens, everything you need. It's nice and easy. It helps support the channel. I've got the members only section if you want to support the channel in that way. I've got the OF page. I've got all kinds of ways that you guys can continue to show your support if you want to continue to see this content. As long as I continue to get the views that I've been getting recently, I've been very happy. I thought you guys were going to disappear on me when I was gone for a week, and it seems like the reverse has happened, and my views almost seem to be up. People seem to be nervous that I'm going to quit the game, I guess. I have no intentions of doing that. As long as this continues to contribute to my ability to make a living and doesn't interfere with my day job, then you will get to continue to see all of the unhinged takes you can get. I've been planning on making some videos that maybe I'll get up this weekend, going into some of the current events. The Olympics has been lit. Just talking about various things going on in our country. Biden's out of the race. Now we got Kamala. What do you guys think about that? Is she going to win and destroy our country? Lots of things we can discuss in the days and weeks to come. But there you have it. As always, I appreciate all of your support, and in any way that you show it, it really means a lot to me. And so please continue to do that, and we'll see you on the next one.